YouTube. I'm out in the shop today, and thought I'd show you how to basically cut a 45-degree angle in wood. Now, you can do the same technique. You can do it with wood, metal, aluminum. I've never heard of anybody cutting cast iron, but I imagine you can do it in cast iron. What you're going to need to cut a 45-degree angle, obviously some type of power saw. Now, I have a 10-inch Craftsman compound miter saw, but you can also use a circular saw. You can use a hand saw, but that's a little bit harder than it looks. You can use a reciprocating saw. That's a little bit hard too. But I prefer the miter saw because it's a lot more accurate, and basically it's just a lot easier to learn on a miter saw. Now, what you do to make a 45-degree angle is, see these implements here? You got 0, 15, 30, 3/16, and 45. Now, this is a gauge down at the bottom of my miter saw. It tells me what angle I'm cutting on. Now, right now I have it set up for a straight line, just this. Hold on, to make sure. And you have to tighten that back down. Nice and tight. Make sure your saw is plugged in. Basically, I went around in the yard here and got just a scrap piece of 2x4, and I'm going to show you basically how to measure this out and mark it and cut it to length. Now, with a 45-degree angle, my dad and my grandfather always said, start as close to the end of the board, like right here, as you can. That way you don't have to lose any unnecessary length to your board. And my father always told me to hold your board up against your fence of your saw like this, or you can use this little vise attachment if your saw has one, but my father always said just to hold it like this, but away from the blade. And you see this red guide? That's the guide. You gotta have your wood on that, or it ain't gonna come out right, and you're gonna lose length. Now, as I'm saying, you're going to need a tape measure. It doesn't matter what length of tape measure. Number 2 pencil or a carpenter's pencil. And a speed square that goes to 45 degrees. Now, what you're going to want to do, say I wanted this board 12 inches. Well, you'd think you'd measure out 12 inches first. You don't do that. This is just a bad for me. What you're going to want to do put my safety glasses on. What you're going to want to do is it basically just cut that. Make sure it's nice and make sure it's a true 45. And what you're going to want to do, come down here, get your tape measure, and at the end of the 45 degree angle, you're going to want to put the dummy end of the tape measure on the point at the end. So you're basically measuring backwards to count for the angle, so you don't lose length. Now what you're going to want to do, let's say you wanted 10 inches, okay? So you measure, you mark out 10 inches. You double check everything. Make sure you got 10 inches. Now what you're going to do is take your framing square, your speed square up against the board, hold it tight so it's nice and straight, and basically just mark a line. Now, if you have a miter saw like mine, there's two 45 degree angles on it. There's one on the left and one on the right. Now, the first 45 degree angle I cut when I get ready to cut a board to make something is on the left. So you're going to want to cut the second 45 degree angle on the right. So look at the side of your line and make sure if you cut that first 45 degree angle on the left side, make sure you turn your miter saw around to the right 45 degree angle, the right side 45 degree angle, and make sure you draw your line up against that straight line that you just drew, but make sure you draw your 45 degree angle cut line basically right smack dab beside that straight line that you just drew, and keep your speed square tight up against the wood so you don't screw it up. Wait a minute.